Kramatorsk, eastern Ukraine, a city living under constant threat, scarred by strikes and air raid sirens, now reacts to fresh diplomacy abroad. In Washington, US President Donald Trump hosted Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky for high-stakes talks. The meeting ended with Trump pushing for a bilateral summit between Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin. The proposal has stirred mixed emotions here in the Donbass, where the cost of war is measured in rubble, blood, and daily survival. For some Ukrainians, dialogue is essential, the only way to shift the stalemate. They see direct talks as a necessary step, however fragile, toward ending the war. For others, however, negotiations with Vladimir Putin represent betrayal. Soldiers on the front lines call him an international criminal who has broken every agreement before and cannot be trusted. They fear that concessions, particularly on territory, would only invite further aggression and embolden Russia to push deeper into Ukraine. In the streets of Kramatorsk, this division is clear. Civilians like builder Sergei Davydenko argue that leaders must meet face-to-face, otherwise peace will remain out of reach. But soldiers like Vitaly, a father of three, reject the notion entirely. He describes the Washington talks as leading nowhere and insists that only force can stop Moscow's advance. For him, fighting is about ensuring that his children never inherit this war. Younger soldiers echo that same skepticism. 22-year-old Oleg, already a veteran of years of frontline combat, says expectations of international diplomacy have faded. He believes nothing said in distant capitals can change the worsening situation on the ground. In Kramatorsk, the air raid sirens continue to wail, buildings crumble, and people endure. As Washington debates diplomacy, Ukrainians here remain caught between hope and distrust, weighing fragile chances for peace against the stark reality of war.
Я живу здесь с краю, то есть со стороны Дружковки здесь с краю живу.
Да.
То есть сам...
Come back to 2022, but he said unfortunately it does look like that.
И через Алексеева Дружковку
через
сюда,
Алексеева Дружковку.
там нет. Вокруг разлетелось там у людей, у меня чуть покрепче оказался дом. Так что...
Ракети, які летять кожної ночі на територію України і на нашій місті.
З 18 років, з початку війни. На початку війни були ДШРи.
Asked if anything good will come from Zelensky meeting with Putin, I think so. Of course, 100%, then there will be a shift improvement. Otherwise, how can anything be decided if someone said something there and someone said something here? They need to meet, that's 100%. Asked about his opinion on the White House meeting, I think it was a conversation between a reasonable and intelligent person with idiots. I don't know how to say this politely, but this person, Trump, is inadequate and changes his position every day. He says one thing in the morning and another in the evening. He was not constructive, and this will lead nowhere. That's just how it is. Asked if a meeting between Zelensky and Putin be productive if it happens, I don't know if it will, but I wouldn't want it to happen. You must not meet with an international criminal, and you must not make any concessions to him because he can't be trusted. He has violated all the agreements he had signed, so there can be no trust in him and no hope for anything constructive with Putin. Asked about the possibility of giving Russia some Ukrainian territory to reach a peace deal. If we give territory to Russia now, in 6 months or a year, they will gather more strength and advance further into Ukraine. These barbarians will not stop until they are stopped by force. They only understand force. Talks about his motivation to continue fighting. I went to war. I have 3 children. I could have stayed in civilian life, but I voluntarily went to the military office and went to fight because I know that if I don't go, my children will fight. And I'm here until the end, either until the end of the war or until my end. I've been positive from the very beginning, and I believe that if our generation doesn't stop Russia, our children will fight, and we don't want that. That is our motivation. We are for our country, we are for democracy, we are for our children. Asked if the White House meeting will change anything on the front lines, I don't think anything will change. Maybe we hope for that something will change. I've been at war for several years. We used to pay attention to these things, the news, but now there are meetings all the time. And I don't know, I don't think anything will change. Things are getting worse and worse on the front line. That's why I don't think anything will change.